Donnie built these tiny transponders to keep track of everywhere I go in the city.
It'll help us map everywhere we've been running into bad guys. I like it. Nice work.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 10 worst TMNT games.
With steadfast determination, you must
party like it's 1989! Woo!
We love the Turtles, but the turtle power behind these titles was non-existent. Did you play any of these for yourself? Let us know down in the comments. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, Reshelled. It was a simple mission. Remake Turtles in Time with newer visuals and online play while retaining the controls and combat of the original. Where did it all go wrong? Turtles in Time Reshelled simply banked on nostalgia and forgot to, make the online mode work. On top of that, there were no bells or whistles thrown in to celebrate the original. No concept art, no unique game modes to make the game more replayable, not even a means to experience the original game in its original form. In other words, it was low-effort work expecting a high-end payout. Selling more than 400,000 units, it got its payout, unfortunately. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. Okay, first off, what in the world are these designs for the Turtles? Ugh, the one thing we did not miss about the late 2000s and early 2010s was how even our favorite cartoon characters had to look hyper-realistic. So many games wound up looking gross because of it, but Out of the Shadows had more problems than just ugly character design. Just about anyone who has played the game can tell you how horrendously buggy this was, and how the game devolves into just mindless button mashing. Come on, the Turtles deserve more respect than this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan.
But ain't you a little too big to be playing with trains?
Fun? Ha! You stupid turtles ain't seen nothing yet!
This one should have been a grand slam! With the success of Bayonetta, Platinum Games should have easily made a kick-ass TMNT game. And yet, not only was the combat lacking, it felt like Platinum Games thought that was all they had to do. None of the levels or boss fights had much thought put into their designs, making every fight feel about the same as the previous several. And how do you put out a TMNT game and not include some form of local multiplayer? Yeah, lackluster is not enough to describe this package. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Melee.
Did you see that? I don't think everyone did.
Another example of Turtles games not showing any effort was this cobbled together mess. Mutant Melee couldn't come up with anything interesting for a 4-player brawler. All you got was a weak arena fighter that looks like it evokes Power Stone and forgets about doing anything interesting outside of throwing players into a room to fight. And in a way as predictable as you'd expect from a mid-2000s fighting game, it is severely unbalanced. Would it last a night with friends? It wouldn't last more than an hour, dude.
Unless I allow it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Manhattan Missions. We fondly remember the Konami games from the old days, from NES to arcade to Game Boy. Alas, not everything was pizza and sushi. Manhattan Missions was absolutely the worst game Konami put out for the Heroes in a Half Shell. The controls were way more awkward than they could have been, but as they say, hindsight is 20/20, and this game is from a time where game language was still being explored. That said, this is the only worst game on this list where we would say play it if you simply want to see what it was like, not necessarily to beat it and see it all the way through. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, MS-DOS version. Very rarely did the MS-DOS get ports as good as the original releases, and the TMNT arcade game was no different. Oh my, how did we get graphics this horrendous even by 1991 standards? Of course, due to the MS-DOS's specs, the game runs at an abysmal frame rate that will make every platforming challenge and fight feel more arduous than it probably should. We're just glad it never made its way outside of Europe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, NES version. It's kind of funny how the Genesis version of Tournament Fighters is often the one most scrutinized. We can sort of understand why, with its stiff animations, scaled back movesets, and slightly smaller roster, but did anybody stop and play the NES version? Yes, we know that a fighting game on NES is going to have some limitations, but this version came out in 1994. The SNES had already been on the market for 4 years by this point. So why did a version with major slowdown and sprite flickers sound like a good idea? At least the Cowabunga collection fixed it up and made it somewhat playable. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Attack. Arcade Attack sounded like it could have beat Shredder's Revenge to the punch. A brand new beat 'em up with a unique combat system made for the Go on Nintendo DS? Yeah, that was a pizza-fueled fever dream, and not a good one. Arcade Attack was the most stripped-down video game we had seen yet. There's no flavor, no pizzazz, no real substance to separate it from Konami's classics. You just fight, run to the other end of the screen, and wait for the screen to just black out so you can jump to the next level. Oh, and that supposed unique combat system? Just mash buttons. You'll be fine. There's no thought put into this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Training Lair. Back in the day, developing a game for Kinect practically set you up for failure, and perhaps due to the Wii's success, many jumped on the Kinect train early thinking that it was going to kick off, and they flooded it with shovelware. TMNT Training Lair was among this shovelware, and if you didn't know Pizza Hut existed, this game made sure that you knew. But all this game really was a Fruit Ninja ripoff. Go through the turtles' lairs and destroy stuff with their weapons in a sea of Pizza Hut boxes. The greasy cheese, just... there's no escape from it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 2013. It's funny how most folks say Reshelled is the worst TMNT game, but everybody really just sat and forgot about this one, huh? Since Out of the Shadows didn't pan out, Activision went forward with a second game developed by Magic Pockets based on the Nickelodeon TV series, and it was a disaster.
Turtles are known to Krang as inferior.
The combat is unbearably mundane, the visuals are bland, the audio design is annoying, more so than my voice, and it is just boring to the nth degree. Sales and reception were so bad that PS3 and Wii U versions were cancelled. Magic Pockets is still alive and well today, working on a few more licensed games since TMNT, though nothing of note or value. And because Activision chose not to renew the license, TMNT 13 was delisted in 2017 from digital storefronts alongside Out of the Shadows and Mutants in Manhattan. Although, we'd like to say good riddance.
Party like it's 1989! Woo!
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.